with Senate File 1324. And I understand you have a few testifiers, but so however you'd like to run it, if you'd like to explain first and then bring your testifiers up, or how you'd like to do it, Senator.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think testifiers come up right away. It's a pretty simple bill.
And Senator, while they're coming up, I will just say a quorum is present. Just to make sure. So whenever you're ready, Senator Draheim, if you just want to have people introduce themselves, and you can.
Thank you, Chairman. This bill appropriates $500,000 in both fiscal year 18 and 19 for the large animal veterinarian loan forgiveness program. The bill sets the base for the budget in fiscal year 2028 at zero. In 2009, legislators established a program to provide loan forgiveness to large animal veterinarians that work in underserved rural areas and work full-time in a practice that is at least 50% involved in the care of livestock. The program received one-time appropriations in 2009 and then again in 2015, but it's never been incorporated in the base budget. So this program not only helps out farmers for the veterinarian, but it also helps out the U of M, and at that, I'll let the testifiers testify to the rest. Thanks.
Thank you, and please proceed, whoever would like to go first. Just identify yourself for the record, and you're being pointed at, so you, so please, thank you.
Good afternoon, Senator Fischbach and committee members. I'm Trevor Ames, the Dean of the Veterinary College, and it's my pleasure to be here to provide support for this proposed legislation. Certainly student debt is a concern for all health professionals, and I think it's more severe in the case of veterinarians because their starting salaries often aren't quite as high as other health professionals. And so I think a predictable loan forgiveness program that graduating veterinarians are aware of and know about can certainly incentivize behavior for more graduates to go into rural areas and provide the needed support for Minnesota's livestock and poultry industries, and also to help ensure the safety of the food supply. As was mentioned, the loan forgiveness program has been funded twice in one-time appropriations, and in both cases, 3 veterinarians were funded, graduate veterinarians that were practicing and continue to practice in rural areas of Minnesota, serving the food animal industry. So it certainly is a needed program, and it certainly is a way of providing a predictable incentive that can convince graduates to pursue their dreams and go work in rural areas on predominantly food animal species. And it also can provide a needed workforce in these rural areas to, as I said, support the livestock and poultry industries. And also I think it's important to point out that when it comes to foreign animal diseases, these rural veterinarians really are the first line of defense that the federal government and the state government depend on. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Dr. Hagerty?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you very much, and members of the committee. My name is Tom Hagerty. I'm a veterinarian, have been for a long time. I practiced in large animal medicine for a number of years outstate and hired many new graduates as they came out, recent graduates. But today it's almost impossible to find a recent graduate or anyone that's willing to come out into the rural parts of Minnesota to practice. And there is such a tremendous need out there. There's many, many, many smaller farmers out there that have herds of 50 to 100 cows, for example, that need a veterinarian on site nearby very, very often. And it's just getting harder and harder to do that. And the thinking is, with adequate funding, as there had been for 6 veterinarians in the past, we'll be able to get more of these newly graduated veterinarians out to help out in the rural part of the state. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I don't know if you want to, if you're going to change seats, because I do have a question for Dr. Ames, if you, or, oh, okay, there you go. So we can hold questions. Mr. Peterson, if you'd like to go ahead, and then we'll see if there's questions.
Madam Chair and members, my name is Tom Peterson. I represent the Minnesota Farmers Union, and we too support Senate File 1324 for many of the reasons that you've heard. We hear a lot from our farmers that there's a shortage in certain areas of large animal veterinarians, and it is a unique thing as we talk to those veterinarians that are going through school. Do you want to graduate and be in an air-conditioned climate working on smaller animals, or do you want to go out to the rural areas where it's, yesterday was 60 and today it's 17 and snowing, and you're getting kicked on and other things done and all kinds of things. There's a lot of challenges. Luckily, a lot of students do like that. The one thing I'm starting to be concerned about that I hear on this bill is this last year I saw a theme, and that was about midsummer. I had an auction barn owner call me that runs a lot of cattle through their barn, and their veterinarian was retiring, and they had a hard time filling that position. In fact, such a hard time that they were close to shutting down the auction barn, and that's a very big concern for farmers in those areas, hundreds of farmers that move cattle through those auction barns. At the same time, we started to have our county fairs in the summertime, and I started to have our members that serve on county fair boards call me and say, our veterinarian's either too busy or is also retiring and is not able to check in the 4-H animals at the county fair. And so I think I got calls from 3 different county fairs this summer. Never had that before. And so when we look at the average age of a veterinarian or a farmer being a 58 and the average age of a veterinarian being somewhere in there too, a large animal veterinarian, there's some concern there. And so I appreciate your consideration of this important legislation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do any of the committee members have questions? Senator Newton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a general question, if you forgive my ignorance, but veterinarians, do they generally work for the county? Are they in private practice? I am not from the rural area, so I'm not quite sure where the money would go and where the veterinarians would be practicing and for whom.
Dr. Ames.
Madam Chair, committee members, the vast majority of veterinarians are in private practice and either self-employed or employed as associates by the practice owner. There are a small number of veterinarians that work for the Board of Animal Health that are located which is a state agency, and are located throughout rural Minnesota. And there are a few USDA veterinarians that are also located in rural Minnesota. But I would say that 90 to 95% of veterinarians practicing are employed as private practitioners.
Mr. Newton,
thank you,
Senator
Madam
Newton.
Chair, and thank you. And for the loan forgiveness program, would that extend to everyone as a veterinarian, regardless of where they work, or is it only for those in private practice?
Dr. Ames.
So I believe the way I'm sorry, Madam Chair, committee members, the way the wording is written is that they are working in a rural area, and so their place of work is in a rural area, and I believe that follows the state definition of non-metro county. And then they are also spending more than 50% of their time working on food animals. So I believe that an employee of the Board of Animal Health, if they were a new graduate and were employed by the Board of Animal Health in a rural area, because of the work of the Board of Animal Health being mostly dealing with livestock and poultry, I believe they would fit that definition.
And Dr. Ames, maybe this is a good time to follow up on that. Are those the only 2 kind of qualifications, the rural area and the 50% on food animals? Or are there other things?
Madam Chair, committee members, the other qualifications are that they are close to the time of graduation, so either a graduating 4th-year student or a new graduate that is just out in practice, and then if they've been out in practice for a longer period of time, they're still eligible but have a slightly lower priority. So it sort of focuses around changing the behavior of the new graduates and giving them an economic incentive to go into rural areas. And these loan forgiveness programs obviously are in place for almost all of the other health professions. And so certainly, as I said in my opening remarks, having a predictable loan forgiveness plan that students and graduating veterinarians are aware of and know about and plan for, I think will truly start to incentivize and change behaviors.
And so, Dr. Eames, how is it administered? Is it a percentage of their loans that are forgiven? Is it, how is it administered to get the students the money?
So it was administered through the Health and Human Services group that manages the other, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, committee members, that manages the other loan forgiveness programs. And the way it was written in the past, they were eligible to receive $15,000 a year for up to 5 years, so long as it didn't exceed the value of their loans. And so, that's how it was written. The 5-year period was written because there is research that shows, especially for food animal veterinarians, that if they stay in a rural food animal practice for 5 years, they're statistically much more likely to continue to stay in that practice. So the time of attrition is in the first few years. So it was, again, structured in such a way as to keep them in those areas for a longer period of time and make them more likely to stay.
And Dr. Eames, did you say 3 students qualified?
Twice.
Twice? Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just wanted to, a little bit of clarification. One of the things that the Healthcare Workforce Commission has worked on the last 3 years is exactly what you're doing, but with working with physicians, advanced practice nurses. So what you've testified to is very consistent, about 5 years, topping out at $60,000. The program has been very successful in looking at physicians, dentists, advanced practice nurses. So it's very consistent with what we have in place on kind of the other side of the doctoral grouping. So thank you so much for your testimony, and Mr. Haggerty, good to see you again. Thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for all being here, and this will be laid over for possible inclusion in the big bill.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Senate File 109. We have Senator Eakin. And Senator, please, however you want to work it. I know you have a couple of testifiers with you, so if you want them to come up or however you'd like to handle it.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair and members. And I do have an amendment as well, and that would be the A17 amendment.
Do we have copies? Well, my understanding is they're in the packet, so the A17 should be in the packet.
Okay.
So, and I am assuming this is the first place you've been, so you're offering this as an author's amendment?
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Okay. Has everybody seen it? On that motion? Well, Senator Anderson has offered the A17. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is adopted. Very weakly, but it was. I heard it. I heard it.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So please proceed.
Thank you,
Senator
Madam Chair and members. This bill is a loan forgiveness, sets up a loan forgiveness program for people working in Greater Minnesota who have significant student loan debt. And people would qualify if they work for 12 months or more at a job in Greater Minnesota and have a qualifying loan balance. It would have to be at least 10% of the income being earned, and would, again, qualify you for up to $3,000 maximum award in a year. You could do this 5 years in a row, at 5 years at maximum, so for a total of possibly $15,000 over the 5 years. And the reason that we're bringing this bill forward is because, well, for 3 reasons, really. First of all, to address the significant student loan debt that many young people in Minnesota are facing, and to help communities in rural Minnesota attract and retain an educated workforce. And the third purpose related to retaining and attracting that educated workforce is for the economic development of Greater Minnesota and as an economic development tool. First of all, relieving the large student loan debts that many are facing. Student loan borrowing has increased 89% from 2004 to 2014. Student debt is now the #1 source of personal debt in the U.S. Approximately 70% of students have debt upon graduation, and that ranks Minnesota as the 5th in the nation as far as the level of student debts. Average student debt total is about $30,894, about $31,000, ranking Minnesota as the 3rd in the nation. There's about 882,000 individuals who have student loan debt in Minnesota. In Greater Minnesota, it's about 327,600 for a total debt or accumulation of debt for those Greater Minnesota residents of $10.1 billion. And again, I mentioned how this is important to support our communities in Greater Minnesota to better attract and retain an educated workforce. This has been a real issue. We in Greater Minnesota, many of our communities are struggling to fill the professional and technical jobs. Recent graduates are increasingly being attracted to large metro areas and are leaving Greater Minnesota. It's been said sometimes that our biggest export from Greater Minnesota has been our young people. The metro area does not have the same problem in attracting and retaining the young people that we do in Greater Minnesota. So, and thirdly, this program would be a great tool for economic development in our area. Many young people are starting their careers and starting families and establishing roots in their community, and usually where they start out is where they stay. Once student debt is paid off, individuals are also much more likely to make large purchases that contribute to the economy, buying homes, purchasing vehicles, starting retirement funds and savings accounts. So for all of these reasons, I think this is a vitally important program to ensure that Greater Minnesota has the tools necessary to, again, retain and attract the young people we need to fill our job vacancies and to provide for greater economic development in our area and to address the large student loan debts that many are facing. So, and with that, I do have 3 individuals that are going to speak to the bill today. First, Jay Decoux, who is the mayor of Grand Marais. We also have Maddie Wegner, who is a student from St. Cloud State University, who will testify first.
There, St. Cloud State. Go Huskies.
Repping my colors. Good afternoon, Chair Fischbach and committee. My name, again, is Maddie Wagner. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you today. I am a student at St. Cloud State University who will be graduating this May. I've been looking for jobs in multiple cities throughout Minnesota, but one of my preferred cities right now is Duluth, which is in Greater Minnesota. Although I am a recipient of the Minnesota State Grant and have worked multiple jobs throughout college, I will still be graduating with debt. This proposed loan forgiveness program not only makes cities in Greater Minnesota more desirable for me as a soon-to-be graduate, but it would also relieve the financial burden of student loans myself and so many other students face. While we believe low tuition is the best way to financially help students, a loan forgiveness program for students working in Greater Minnesota would be beneficial for graduates' financial and career success. As a college senior, I cannot stress enough how much this bill would help me and other students throughout the state. Thank you for making higher education students a priority. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. I think we'll probably hold questions until after the testimony is done, but thank you. Mr. Mayor, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on this. I'm wearing 2 hats today when I come. One is an actual student with student loan debt, even though I graduated 11 years ago from St. Olaf College down in Northfield, Minnesota. Go Olies. I got to say it. So, fair enough, fair enough. And the second hat that I'll be wearing is the representative of the city of Grand Marais, a city of 1,300 located in Cook County on the North Shore. Coolest small town. Anyway, so as a student loan ower myself, I spent 4 years at St. Olaf College. I traveled the world. I explored what it meant to be a learner, and I was able to build some skills that enabled me to be an entrepreneur. I currently own 2 businesses in Grand Marais, and the structure of that lifestyle was able to allow me to get involved in civic responsibility as well. That's why I was interested in becoming the mayor, and why I've got a really soft spot in my heart for this as well. We in Grand Marais are struggling, so I'm changing hats now. We in Grand Marais are struggling to find, just like Maddie said so well, young professionals to fill positions. We have, for several years at the Cook County Hospital, have had to import emergency doctors, emergency room doctors, because we do not have the staffing to do that. We have had to import or have people work temporary positions for the county in the social services department because we are not able to attract those folks. Part of this is pay discrepancy, which this bill would also assist in addressing. And part of that is that the accessibility of a rural place is something people are not able to take on because of the financial situation they find themselves in. I currently own a home via contract for deed. I had to cash out my retirement so that I could get into this contract for deed to buy a home, which is the basis for one of my businesses. And that is not a good financial decision. And I'm aware of that. The financial decisions that people are being asked to make to live in rural Minnesota are problematic at best. This would help in assisting people to see that as a viable option moving back to the rural areas. The Center for Small Towns at University of Minnesota Morris has shown, and through a number of studies that they've completed, that young people are desiring to move back to their homes, to their hometowns. They want to live in a small town. This bill, I believe, is a very innovative way of addressing that, and a very creative way of allowing young people to do that again. So I would thank you very much for the opportunity, and I would love to see this pass through.
Thank you very much. I have one more. I have Molly O'Neill.
That's correct.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, thank you. My name is Molly O'Neill. I live in Lutsen, Minnesota, which is just outside of Grand Marais. I finished my bachelor's in 2008 and have extended all of the repayment options available to me. I have paid interest only, graduated repayment plans. I've consolidated my debt as far as it can be consolidated. I started with roughly $55,000 in student loan debt, and that is including grant aid money that I received some years. I did not have any parental support financially. I came from a lower middle class household and was strongly encouraged to go to college, which I did. I went to 2 out-of-state universities and did my final 2 years through UMD as an online student while living and working in Lutsen. The numbers are maybe what are the most understandable piece of the puzzle. The totals, I've been making payments, at least interest-only payments, since the fall of 2008, and have barely dipped into the principal. I did manage to pay off a few very small loans last year, which felt great, but that feeling was quickly erased by the remaining debt. My current monthly payments are about $500. That's more than I pay for my mortgage. I live without running water at my home, and that's not as uncommon in our area as you might think. We have a lot of folks who build a small home and start without running water, make do just to keep their mortgage down because septic systems and wells are expensive to install, tens of thousands of dollars. If you're in greater Minnesota, city sewer and water is often not an option. My debt to income ratio of my student loan balances alone is roughly a quarter of my gross income. Greater Minnesota does not pay very well. When I started as a new graduate with our in local government, I worked for the county as the financial worker, determining eligibility for aid programs for the state of Minnesota. And my starting salary was under $30,000. And my student loans payments at that time constituted more than half of my take-home pay. The total debt to income ratio is 36%, and most of that is my student loan debt. Now, this is a problem that is not going away in my foreseeable future. I did the calculations, and on the extended graduated and income-based repayment plans that I currently have, I will be 48 by the time my last loan is paid off. That's 15 years from today. With that in mind, I don't know how I'll ever accumulate a retirement savings that would actually support me in retirement. So this bill is wide-reaching. I think it will be impactful. It's really going to make a difference. My testimony sounds very much like a plea because it is. It's not just personal, it's the situation that so many of us face. As the more I've opened up and told my story, the more I hear it repeated in my peers over and over and over again. And while I think it's important to address tuition in general, tuition costs, it's too late in the game for many of us in our 30s and early 40s and late 20s who've already finished school. It won't touch us. So loan forgiveness feels a bit like a misnomer because as you hear a lot of the time, those of us in our early 30s who did go to school and finish school, we did everything right. We did what we were supposed to. So having forgiveness for something that doesn't feel like you ever did anything wrong feels a little funny. But I did move back to my hometown, and I love it there. Lutsen and Grand Marais are an amazing place to live. We have more outdoor recreation at our back step than you can possibly use in a year, and it's a fantastic place to live. But we need my peers to come back. It's a retirement community more and more all the time, and if you're going to support an aging population, you have to have some young people coming back to fill those roles in healthcare, education, infrastructure, utilities, or it just doesn't work. So, Madam Chairperson, committee members, thank you very much for hearing my testimony. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to finally speak to an engaged audience about something that I feel like I've just been whining about for the last decade. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the committee? Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Senator Eakin, thanks for bringing this forward. A question I have is how many people do you plan to reach, given your fiscal note and number of people in greater Minnesota that might be qualifying under this bill?
Well,
Senator Eakin.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Senator Clausen. We'd be looking at about, they believe there's about 327,000 individuals that have federal student loan debt in greater Minnesota. Now, it's a question as to how many of those would qualify with their debts, and we don't know for sure, but I know that in the assumptions of the fiscal note, it does state that 560,000 Minnesotans with federal student loans would benefit from proposed federal refinancing legislation. So that might be an estimate that one could use as far as how many people may be reached.
Further questions? Seeing none. Oh, Senator Clausen has another.
I'm just going to put in a plug for a bill that we passed 2 years ago where you can refinance student loans for as low as 3.5% through the Office of Higher Ed, self-refi at state.mn. And you know about it, it seems. Very good. Has it been successful for you?
Madam Chair, committee
Ms.
members.
O'Neill.
I have a self-loan refinance.
Okay.
The student loan debt that I have is mixed with federal loans and some private loans as well. And private loans are a bear to deal with. They're not eligible for anything helpful. I think I just got a letter of increase that portion of my loans, which is $13,000, just went back up to 6.8% finance interest rate.
Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We may not be talking about the same because the program I'm talking about, you can refinance private loans, federal loans, state loans. It covers them all. So self-refi at state.mn. It's been very successful, so I wish you the best. Thank you.
Further questions, comments from the committee?
And Madam Chair, and
Senator Ekin.
Senator Clausen, I just thought I'd mention that as far as the 560,000 Minnesotans in the estimate, the fiscal note estimate, that's statewide. Again, the number for rural folks that do have student loan debts is that 327,000. But again, you'd have to qualify. You'd have to work for that 1 year full-time. You'd have to have at least 10% of your income going to the student debt. So,
Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming down and sharing your information with us. We are going to lay this over for possible inclusion as we put together the big bill. So thank you all very much.
thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, members.
Okay. Next, we have on the agenda Senate File 1585, Senator Anderson. You're not supposed to. Oh, to take it there? Yes, that's fine. Ma'am, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to sit there. You can't sit at the table. Oh, I didn't know. That's why, so it's not as funny as all that.
Madam Chair.
Senator Anderson, please, whenever you're ready. And I understand you have a large group of testifiers, so I won't call them up individually, so if people just want to make sure that they trade places as they go. But Senator Anderson, I'm assuming you'd like to start. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. I want to thank the co-authors of this bill, Senators Draheim, Abler, Jensen, and Herr. Senate File 1585 provides incentives and support to racially and ethnically diverse teacher candidates through scholarships and grant stipends for currently unpaid student teaching. I think we can all agree we need to do what we can to address a specific, severe, and persistent teacher shortage that has wide-ranging effects and costly implications for students, families, schools, communities, and the state and our economy. Investing to diversify the teacher workforce will help meet the state's major goals related to higher education attainment, world's best workforce, and achievement and integration by addressing the need for change to close costly achievement gaps and provide equitable access to effective and diverse teachers for all students. Senate File 1585 has 3 key provisions. It creates a scholarship program administered by the Office of Higher Education for teacher candidates of color, admitted to any board-approved teacher preparation program throughout the state that incentivizes going into teaching and supports retention. Scholarships up to $5,000 per term, maximum of $10,000 per year, and $25,000 total for a maximum of 2.5 years of full-time study. It also expands grants to student teachers in shortage areas, program to support licensure, program completion for more candidates in understaffed licensure fields, geographic regions, and diverse racial ethnic groups. And it also stipulates amount of student teaching grants up to $7,500 based on need to subsidize tuition and cost of living during the full-time unpaid internship that typically lasts 12 to 16 weeks. We do have a number of testifiers I'll have come forward, Mr. Chair, but just also want to note in your packet, we have a couple things. One, you will see a very large list of coalition members that supports this. Some comments from teacher candidates who are of color or American Indian descent that have comments about how this would help them. Also, a letter from one of my superintendents, Dr. Kate McGuire from Osseo Schools. So with that, we will turn it over to testifiers here.
Thank you, and welcome to the committee. And you have quite a long list of people, and the amount of time allowed for this wasn't like an hour. But so if you all could go like a minute, and then when you get done, you could leave, and then somebody could fill in next to you. And actually, you'll be surprised what you can say in a minute. And it forces you to be kind of focused. This is higher ed, and so we're kind of focusing on high achievement and effectiveness in your communication. So welcome to this. So identify your name, and I will be eager to hear what you have to say. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, members. For the record, my name is Violeta Hernandez, and I'm here on behalf of the Council on Latino Affairs. We do have a joint testimony, so not all of us will be speaking, but I would like my colleagues to introduce themselves first. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Dennis Olson, Executive Director of the Minnesota Indian Affairs Council. Appreciate the opportunity to offer our supports for Senate File 1585 on behalf of the Indian Affairs Council.
Members of the committee, thank you for hearing this very critical bill. My name is Kade Wallace, and I'm the Legislative Coordinator for the Council of Minnesotans of African Heritage.
Good afternoon, members. My name is Tu Zhang. I'm with the Council on Asian Pacific Minnesotans, and we are glad to have this hearing today, and we're in support of Senate File 1585. Thank you.
Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As representatives of the State Ethnic Councils and the Minnesota Indian Affairs Council, we would like to express our strong support of Senate File 1585. In your folders, you will find a joint letter of support from all of our councils. As state agencies, we are primarily charged with advising you on behalf of ethnic and racial minority Minnesotans who collectively represent 19% of the state's population. While each of our council's constituent communities are widely diverse in history, culture, assets, and challenges, our communities have shared issues of concern. Two of these issues are the achievement gap and the shortage of teachers of color and American Indian teachers. These two issues are interconnected and affect each other. Research shows that teachers of color overall improve achievement for students of color. However, while Minnesota's student body is 31% students of color and American Indian, only 4.2% of the state's public school teachers are of color and American Indian, including only 973 Asian Pacific Islander, 690 African American, 629 Hispanic, and 249 American Indian teachers. These issues not only impact our specific communities, but the whole of Minnesota as we seek to maintain a competitive economy, skilled labor force, and quality of life in the face of changing demographics and an increasing number of retirees. In 2015, Governor Dayton and the Minnesota legislature enacted legislation setting a target that 70% of Minnesotan adults ages 25 to 44 will have attained a post-secondary certificate or degree by 2025. According to data collected by the Office of Higher Education and the State Demographer's Office, average attainment rates for Asian students are over 60%, Black students are at 35%, Hispanic students are at 24%, and 21% for American Indian students. The scholarships and student teaching grants in this bill are needed to close achievement gaps and help the state reach its higher education attainment goal. In essence, by investing in diverse teacher candidates, we would be doubling the return on investment by helping more students complete their degrees so they in return can help increase K-12 achievement and get more students of color into post-secondary education. We thank Senator Anderson for his leadership on the issue and urge you to also support Senate File 1585. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And so while they're changing hands, so we're going to hear from Antonia Ferguson, Jasmine Bolden, and then Selena Hernandez.
Yep.
I have time. Senator.
And as they're coming up, Mr. Chair, I also want to point out that it is a open appropriation right now in the bill. There's a handout in your packet that has different categories of investment in this program, from 750 scholarships in the Teacher Candidates of Color Scholarship Program, and then 1,000 grants to student teachers in shortage areas, all the way up to 2,250 of the scholarship program and 2,500 in the teachers in shortage areas as well.
Well, thank you, and I'm a co-author. I'm a fan of this bill, but I was just going to comment. It's good to see the councils involved, and the more we can interconnect them to all this stuff, and someday we won't need any councils. That would be nice. But it's good you're here now. Your work is very important. Senator Isaacson, did you want to offer some advice?
I have a question when they're done for OHE.
Okay.
If they're here.
I bet they
related to this bill and the previous bill passed. Thank you.
Okay, well, welcome to the committee, and I don't know who's first, but who's ever I said first, you're first, and then welcome.
Thank you, Chair and members. My name is Antonia Ferguson, and I am a special education teacher candidate at Minnesota State University, Mankato, and I identify as African American. This financial support would take the burden off me of worrying about how I would pay for my schooling. I could spend more of my time focusing on my studyings instead of stressing and working multiple jobs and worrying about how I would pay for my schooling. This financial support would benefit me and other students for the greater good and would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your support of this bill.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, Chair and members. My name is Selena Hernandez, and I am a special education teacher candidate at Normandale Community College, and I identify as Hispanic. Many people would consider themselves busy. Being a student of color and first-generation college student, I find that we have to work hard, if not harder, to achieve what we want. My mother cannot afford to financially support me in my education and life in general. She has other more important issues she has to deal with. Being Hispanic to me means that I have to be my mother's keeper, that I have to support my siblings in their education. It also means that I have to occasionally financially support my family. This scholarship would mean that I would be able to dedicate much needed time to my education, to reach my goals, which is to become a special education teacher that empowers their students to embrace their differences and work towards constant and daily improvement. Thank you for the support of your bill.
Well, thank you for all your hard work. Welcome to the committee.
Chair and members, hello. My name is Vanessa Goodlander, and my Dakota name is Nasnawi. I am a teacher candidate at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and I am Dakota and I'm Dene. And finances are no joke. Every cent counts and every cent is felt. For me personally, I was able to make it through undergraduate degree all on scholarships, but then graduate school hit me. My mother was the first to graduate high school, and then I became the first to graduate college this past May. And so we weren't prepared for graduate school. I did not know that I wouldn't get some of the grants or scholarships, or I guess I didn't comprehend I wouldn't get them that I received before. And I didn't know how to pay for it. So the program I'm in is so intense that they asked me not to get a job on the side. So I don't know how I'm supposed to focus on my dream while thinking about how I'm going to pay for schooling, books, travel, food, and other expenses. And so this scholarship or teaching grant would really help me throughout my time becoming the teacher I've always wanted to be. So Pirame Yapi, thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for being here. So you can all stand down, and then we'll hear from, is Ms. Bolden not here? Kia Young, Ia Porter, and then we're going to jump to Dr. Brown, because Mr. Grant and Spies asked to go at the end. So, welcome to the committee.
Thank you. Please, whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members. My name is Ia McMillan Porter. I'm the Community Liaison at the University of St. Thomas for the College of Education, Leadership, and Counseling. Thank you for your time today. The timing of this is excellent. I spent last week at the annual meeting for the AACTE, the American Association of Colleges of Teacher Education Programs. So there were representatives from colleges, private, state schools, from all over the country. And getting all of those folks together, one of our biggest goals at this meeting was to talk about some of the barriers to teaching and to getting people into the teaching profession. The biggest barrier, we all agreed, was money. There are some people who are interested in maybe becoming teachers, but they are afraid that the salary will not allow them to support a family. They're afraid of the amount of student debt and how they will repay and how long it might take to repay their student debt once they become licensed teachers. A lot of people, if they are, as undergraduate students, appear to be good in math or science or even in an education kind of field, are encouraged not to go into teaching because they won't make enough money. They're encouraged to go into industries like working as an engineer or going into a science field because, again, the concern about the amount of debt and money. Some of the things that we get to see are people who might have picked a different industry and are willing to consider becoming a teacher at the graduate level. But by that time, most of them have families. They have bills, they have rent and mortgages to pay. And so a lot of times they pick a college or university that will allow them to do their education at night while they keep their day jobs. But a big a hindrance to that goal is the fact that they have to quit that day job in order to do their student teaching. A colleague from Indiana shared with us that there is such a teacher shortage in that state that they recently passed a bill to completely fund at the, scholarships to fund for 4 years at the undergraduate level and 2 years at the graduate level to encourage people to become teachers. 3 states now have what they call accelerated teacher internship programs, which allows student teaching as an internship, which is then paid, and upon completion, then the student is guaranteed a job. They are also, some of the other states are offering more debt forgiveness, again, to encourage people to enter the teaching profession. Children are our future, and if we don't have the teachers, then there goes our future. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much. Please welcome to the committee. Identify yourself for the record.
I'm Margaret Peg-Finders. I'm chair of the Department of Education at Augsburg College, where we have Q funds for our East African Student Teacher Program. And I wanted to share a little bit about the fact that our East African students have 100% of their tuition paid, their books paid. But for many of our students and other candidates of color, they are the head of household. They're working adults, they have extended family, so the need to leave their job to do 13 consecutive weeks of student teaching, even for our students who have their tuition paid, it's a great financial burden for them. With support from the Q funds, we now are giving our student teachers $1,000 cost of living fund, which is very, very helpful to them and very appreciative, and they're using that for food, for childcare, but it's still, not enough. I would say that our program, our East African program, we should double count our students because a majority of our students are not only African descent, but are going into special ed and ESL. So they're hitting 2 high need areas as well. We do require our East African students to stay in Minnesota for at least 2 years. We believe with additional support for induction support, hopefully they would stay longer. In addition to the tuition, our students take state-mandated tests. Because of testing bias, for many of our students, English is their 3rd, 4th, or 5th language. So if they need to take the tests on average 3 times, that's quite expensive. So we really appreciate looking at the complexities of financial support for our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, please.
Thank you,
Go ahead.
Madam Chair. My name is Stanley Brown, and I'm the Coordinator of Equity and Inclusion for Hopkins Schools. And we have indeed been beating the paveway, trying to find teachers of color, not only for our students that look like them, but for our white students also. When I first moved here, I taught in a suburban all-white school. I was the only African American in the school of 1,500. I went to visit a student in Georgia 2 months ago, and he told me, who was white, and he told me, Mr. Brown, if it wasn't for you being in my classroom, and you were the first person of color that I had met, if it wasn't for you bringing the African American culture, yourself, your race into the classroom, I would not have been able to transport from Coon Rapids to Georgia, where the majority of people do not look like me. He said it was an ease for me to integrate in the community. It was an ease for me to make friends, because what you taught us of just being present. So teachers of color are not only for students that look like them, they're also for white students also, that we bring our heritage, we bring our person, and we bring our race into the classroom so that they can leave the classroom better able to understand and integrate into a society that may not look like them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, whenever you're ready, just identify yourself for the record.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, good afternoon. My name is Brett Grant. I serve on the core steering committee of the Coalition to Increase Teachers of Color and American Indian Teachers in Minnesota. This coalition was formed a little over a year ago by 40 people from K through 12 schools, various colleges, and community organizations. Since then, we've held 2 conferences, and we've engaged hundreds of stakeholders about the significant barriers to the profession, to the teaching profession, especially as it pertains to people of color. From their input and from their research, we've drafted bills such as Senate File 1585. Today, we now have nearly 800 members from more than 150 different organizations, school districts, community organizations, higher ed institutions, all throughout Minnesota. And we're all dedicated to reaching 2 goals by 2020. The first is to double the percentage of teachers of color and American Indian teachers in Minnesota from 4% to 8%. And the second is to increase the state's total of racially, ethnically diverse candidates in teacher preparation programs from 9% to at least 20%.
Thank you. Please, whenever you're ready, just identify yourself for the record.
Madam Chair, members, my name is Paul Spees. I'm also a member of the core steering committee for the Coalition to Increase Teachers of Color and American Indian Teachers in Minnesota. We'd like to thank Senator Anderson and the co-authors of this bill for their leadership and for all the testifiers today. There were many more who wanted to come testify, but we had limited time. This bill is the result of a lot of stakeholder engagement, and it identifies a key area of barrier that you've heard about today. Senator Anderson heard yesterday in the E12 Finance Committee, somebody asked, one of the senators asked, what's happening on the higher ed side? And so today is the answer to that. There's a companion bill in E12, Senate File 1555, that addresses aspects with K-12 schools. So just so that you know, committee members, that there's a joint effort here E12 and K-12 to address this barrier. We're in a very deep hole. As Brett said, we're at 4% and we want to get to 8%. That's going to take a lot of investment over time. And even at 8%, we're still in a crisis given the demographics of our student population and the need going forward in 21st century. So we hope that you take this bill seriously, include it in your omnibus bill, and invest as much as possible given the many of options that we have laid out in terms of how many students could be assisted towards their completion of their goal and ultimately helping our K-12 students. So we thank you so much for your support, and we'll take any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee? Seeing none, any discussion, anything? We will be laying this over for possible inclusion, and we are going to be starting the process of putting that larger bill together soon. So thank you all very much for being here, and we will look forward to putting that big bill together, and we'll lay it over. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.